What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What just happened?
What the f happened?
What just happened? I am Dan. This is Julia. Today we are going to be breaking down season 3, episode 7 of Servant, called Camp. What a wild episode. We'll get into everything that's in store that we just saw play out in front of our eyes. And this season's getting there, Jules. It's getting there.
Yeah, I saw a couple comments on our last video about how slow burning this season is. And I can understand that, but I think this is where that absolutely 100% changes.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be just a wild ride for the last 3 episodes. So let's gear in. Let's figure this out. Get your theories in, get your comments in. Remember, if you subscribe and comment on video, you will be entered into the running for a $50 movie gift card of any movie theater you want. We're just going to email it to you when you win. And also, the vlog video, we're going to do it. We got 2 more comments. One from Billy saying, P.S. I love watching your reviews. I think it would be great to see you guys vlog the filming location also. And then our friend Andy Moody would love for you guys to go to the filming locations. By the way, great idea. So we're going to do it. You know, we've never vlogged before. We have no idea how to do it, but we'll figure it out and we'll do it.
It's going to be an experience, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, me too. And also, we're going to do another theory video after episode 8, reading as many as we can, try to do 10 or more. So get your theories in. Doesn't matter how long they are, because that whole episode is going to be dedicated to just reading your theories. So, all right, let's go. This episode starts out with Sean's commercial for Gourmet Gauntlet. And Jules, did you notice a theme? Like, he's just in that world where he wants to do his show. He wants to go to work and come home and be normal. Like, that's where he's at right now. So we'll see if he gets his wish.
I feel like that's going to be hard, though, because that entire commercial thing for his show is just sensationalizing his life. So I feel like that's going to be very difficult to make it, or it's going to make it very difficult for him to live normal outside of the show. And
Leanne thinks it's going to be a huge hit. She goes as far as to say Gourmet Gauntlet Philly will be their most successful season. Everyone is going to remember the name Sean Turner. Dorothy doesn't seem too happy about this. She seems, this episode more than any, very untrusting of Leanne and maybe a bit jealous of Sean. Do you see that at all?
And Leanne straight calls her out for it.
Yeah, she does.
She's like, "Oh, we're so happy for you." And Leanne's like, "Are you though? Are you?"
Right.
And I applaud that, man.
You know, her career, unfortunately, is on the downturn because of what just happened on live TV. And Sean's, you know, he didn't even tell her about this Gourmet Gauntlet thing. And now his is really going high. And Leanne thinks it's going to be, you know, star power, very much so. So we'll see where that goes. Dorothy then calls out Julian for sleeping with Leanne. This cracked me up. I had no idea she knew.
Did it say how she figured it out?
No, she just knew. I don't know. It was strange.
Yeah, that's not at all what I was expecting her to say to him. It definitely caught me off guard.
Yeah, because then when you know, Julian has the face about it and he's like, you know, it's over with, you know, we'll see about that. But then when she confronts Leanne's like, did you look through my things? Because how do you know? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe she looked through the security tapes or something, but she knows and she called them out.
I feel like that has to be it. But then she turns around and does exactly what Leanne asked her not to do, and goes through her things. Like,
yes, Then she goes through her things, and that just makes everything worse. So yeah, Dorothy wants Leanne to stay away from the park. She doesn't. She goes to the park, and while she's at the park, we're seen with Leanne be presented with looked like a princess crown or something, or a king crown that they made.
I think at the end it shows her wearing it as a necklace.
Okay.
But you can tell that by, you know, homeless people standards, it looks like something that would be like regal. You know, they made it look like a royal piece of jewelry without actually having like royal materials, I guess. Expensive things, but she loved it. Oh, you could tell she loved it.
Yeah, and the way they presented it to her, it very much seemed like a very important gift. So they're all there in all of Jericho, all trying to talk to Leanne. and she loves it. You can tell that she's very much in her element when she's over there. Dorothy freaks out, but before she freaks out, she sees Leanne's doodle book. First, what just happened moment. Is she drawing these things and then they happen, or is she drawing them after they happen? Because they're like, some things are exact events and some things we haven't seen happen yet, but like literally exact events of what happened that she's like the finger that was in her book. And then what happened when she started lactating on live TV, that was in the book. So get your theories in on that. I personally believe that she's drawing them and then they happen. Kind of like when she put Sean's name in the book and he lost his sense of feeling. He was burning himself and not feeling anything. So I kind of feel like this plays into her powers. What about you?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with Julian and the seagulls when he got attacked. But the thing is, we don't necessarily know that the order in which they're showing us these scenes is the order in which they happened, like these events happened. So it very well could be that she's drawing these after they happened, but I'm leaning towards she's causing them also.
And how about Roscoe being at the park? At first I was like, oh, he's in on it. But then what he says to what I'm going to call the leader guy again, the guy with the heart problem, he says to this guy, what is it about her? So it seems like he more wants to learn. Like, why is he there if you're asking what is it about her? Is he just drawn to her?
Like, it feels like he's gone from this like curiosity about her to get more information for the Turners, and more like he wants to see why these people are so enamored by her, because hey, maybe he'll join them,
Yeah.
And if he is part of this cult, as we have been suspecting, maybe he's deciding that it's not for him and he wants to join this, de facto cult instead.
Yeah, I think something similar is going on with him, like with Dorothy, how Dorothy just doesn't feel right. I think Roscoe is going through the same type of thing. And maybe he was visiting Uncle George in the hospital when he was at the hospital and he was on the phone with Julian. That very well could be. So we'll see. But when Dorothy gets to the park and freaks out, she makes Leanne go home, brings Jericho home. And then Leanne compares her to Aunt May, how controlling she's being. So she's
my favorite part of that is how Leanne called back Dorothy's conversation with her earlier, and she's like, do you see how that's a dangerous pattern?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
I know. Leanne, yes,
she's very, very much rebelling in this episode. And
I feel like her aura seems more mature this episode than she has in the past. Like, she seems less like bratty teenager and more like someone who's coming into adulthood and is realizing, kind of their worth and like what they should and should not be subjected to.
Yeah, and that goes perfectly into the next thing. She goes and talks to Sean and says, they just want to learn from me, the people in the park. And she's like, maybe I deserve this. So she's starting to see like, oh, all these people, are straight up following me right now. Maybe there is something special that I should embrace. So I think she's very much so rebelling, but at the same time trying to figure out like her place in this world. Agent Vera, as I'm going to call her, agent for the cult, she shows up and they hatch a plan to get Leanne out of there. And I got the cult vibes right away. Again, Jules, she was so down for a plan to get rid of Leanne, and that's all she wanted to do, and help out in any way that she could.
It is suspicious that we haven't seen her in so long, and the one time she does show up, and like not even for Julian, like she shows up for Dot, like to help her get rid of Leanne.
Right. There's supposed to be a long waiting list for this dance camp, but she made some calls, she pulled some strings to get her in right away. So she's going to start Monday. This was a Saturday, and the next day's Sunday where the crazy shit happens, and they want to get her out of there. Yeah,
it just seems convenient, and as someone who has some dance experience, I can tell you that no dance school would ever accept you without you auditioning first. So
100%.
Yeah, something sketchy about that.
Yeah, Dorothy tells Sean that she just doesn't trust Leanne right now, and Sean's all pissed off. He's like, you just made this decision without even talking to me about it. So I guess I'm not even in control of parenting my kid anymore. So he's pissed. He doesn't want her to go. But Dorothy's like, this has to happen. I don't trust her right now. This has to happen.
I can understand that argument from both sides. Like, obviously, Dorothy's just trying to protect her kid, but that is something that you need to, discuss with your partner. Because what is it that she said to him? She said that she needs a partner and basically not someone who's just going to like give in to everything. So and then she turns around and gets mad at him for being like, well, you didn't discuss this with me. So Dorothy, I feel like, is definitely reaching that breaking point here, because she's being hypocritical. She's making rash decisions. She's about to lose her shit. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, then Julian burst in, freaking out. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. You notice Leanne's right there as they're arguing about it. She's being very, very quiet while they argue. And I love how when scenes are chaotic this season, the use of volume, I said this a couple weeks ago, but the use of volume and sound effects and anybody that moves or makes a noise, it's very, very specific and deliberate and loud. And you're just like in these scenes. It like kind of reminds me of how A Quiet Place was made. Like the use of sound is very, very highlighted in certain times. So everybody's freaking out. Then finally Leanne goes up to and says, it'll be okay, Mr. Turner. I'll go. It's only 2 months. I'll be back. And then she goes to sit outside. And now while she sits outside, Vera brings Jericho into the kitchen, puts him in his high chair. Julian says some not so kind things about Vera, which she hears.
Yeah, that was
and yeah. And then comes back in the room. Dorothy goes to check. The doll's back. The doll's back. Lost my shit.
Yeah,
Lost
so
my
did I.
shit.
So did I.
Uh-huh.
Like, I had a feeling that was coming eventually, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly.
Yeah, me either. And the way, dude, her response.
Well, she said, I can't do this again.
I can't do this again. Yeah, so like,
I don't know if she's making that connection that it has anything to do with the people around her, but she has to remember something by that, right?
She has to. And then
Like,
this
it doesn't
scene,
make sense if she doesn't.
I know. Yeah, it's bonkers. But then the next scene, how they go from hearing the baby upstairs and then downstairs, and then the house cracks in the basement as they're all freaking out and trying to find out what's going on.
This entire scene was just so good.
Yeah, and then Vera confronts Julian. Julian's like, just get out of here, stay far away from me. She leaves. Poor Toby's freaking out, like, you're gonna miss your train. What's going on, Leanne? Why aren't you moving?
Poor Toby.
All this chaos.
He always gets the worst end of every situation.
I know. Poor kid. Like, he's just like, I'm just supposed to show up and take you to the train. What is going on in that house? Everybody's freaking out. And then finally, Leanne steps foot back inside, tells Dorothy, it's fine. Jericho's up in his crib. He's been there this whole time. And clearly he wasn't, because we saw them look up in the crib earlier. This gives semblance to my theory that I truly, truly think the doll and Jericho are the same. And like, that's why.
It really seems to be that way. I mean, Leanne keeps telling everyone, as long as I'm here, nothing's going to happen to Jericho.
Exactly.
Because Jericho's only there when she's there. Right.
And then Sean believes this, because Sean then makes the decision and apologizes for Dorothy. It's like, sorry, we would love for you to stay as long as you would like to. And she says that would make me very happy. So Sean believes there's a link. I believe that he has a feeling, and I think he's right. Would you agree?
I mean, yeah, there has to be. I mean, it would have to be some crazy coincidence for that doll to come back as soon as Leanne steps foot out of the house to leave.
Right. I mean,
there has to be some kind of link with her and the house too, because I mean, everything started cracking and falling apart and this and that, and just it would make sense if Leanne didn't have something to do with it.
So crazy, awesome episode. We're gonna read some comments in a minute, but some things that are lingering in my head that I want some theories to, or I want some answers to, and they both have to do with the house. One, what is that black goo water substance that we saw again when Leanne was down there? What is that? And what exactly causes the house to become damaged? Is it just like when chaos is going on? Is it when a miracle happens? Is it when Leanne uses her powers? and it takes something out on the house and it has something to do with the black goo water substance, hit me with the theories on that, because it's racking my brain and I really want to know more on that. I mean, do you have anything on that? Like what is up with that?
I know they're connected somehow, but I think I'm also going to have to turn this over to our absolutely brilliant commenters, because you guys are always coming up with new things that I haven't thought of.
And if you guys,
some help here, yeah.
If you guys didn't know, we made after party videos, the other show on Apple TV, which is a great show, and the commenters cracked the case, like cracked it perfectly, and it was a lot of fun. And we're gonna do a final video on that on Sunday, so check that out if you'd like. But all right, let's get into some comments and see what we got here.
All right. So the first comment we have is from a new commenter, and this is from Marie Tremblay. And Marie says, I enjoy so much this show because it's perfectly crafted. I feel the script is taking a very dark turn with Leanne's loss of faith and her bad attitude overcoming her innocent, naive nature. Leanne was the pure element in this sophisticated, wealthy, and superficial household, but it's like the house or the family is rotting her from the inside. I also think that making Jericho reborn is not a blessing at all. The Turners will have to pay it off soon, and they'll maybe regret this.
Perfect timing to talk about that, because they just saw that happen. You know, Dorothy believed that she could just get rid of Leanne because she doesn't trust her anymore and then still have this life, when that's not the case.
Right, especially someone who she's been treating as if she was her own daughter, you know what I mean? And then turn around and be like, nah, see ya. Good luck.
Yeah, like
come
she
back
was
and visit, I guess.
Right. Like, what was that? Like you were so all about family, we're in this together, to wanting to get rid of her just because, you know, you don't trust her anymore because of the people in the park. It's just like, you can't have both. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta have some consequences. So yeah, great comment.
And I love that imagery of, you know, this family like rotting her from the inside, because I feel like it lines up with what's happening to the house. Went from this perfect, you know, sophisticated family and perfect life, perfect house, and now that these two forces are clashing, everything's falling apart. So
yeah, the house is,
that was a great comment.
Yeah, it's literally rotting from the inside. So yeah, great call. All right, next one. This is a wild theory. I like this one.
Yeah, this is a new one, and part of me kind of hopes it's right, because it's the first time I've seen this suggested. This is from Preston S. Papel. And Preston says, thanks for the video. I would theorize that it was Leanne who caused Jericho to die before she even got to the Turner's house.
What if that's true? I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard that. So I haven't
heard anybody suggest that before.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not sure how she would have known about Jericho.
I mean, unless she was always connected to them somehow. But this is the type of show, if you have a wild theory, just say it. Just say it, because you might be right.
Anything could be right. Yeah, for sure.
You literally never know. So we're getting there. We got 3 episodes left. This has been a great season. I think this episode was the best one yet. And I think next week might be even better. So get your theories in, get your comments in, make sure you subscribe so you can be part of that giveaway at the end of the season. And as always, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.